out for a ride in the summer of 2025. Right now in Springbank Park. Come down the trail through Greenway, which I've done hundreds of times over the years. I saw the poplar trees and I saw the way the leaves were kind of flip-flopping around in the breeze, and the sound they make. I can hear the sound right now of these leaves too, but imagine if you've studied it hard enough, you'd find that leaves have different sounds. The poplars do anyway, to me, because they're a thicker leaf, thicker than most. Kind of like wax paper on one side. So, of course, that made me think of the windbreak. Growing up in St. Thomas on Fairview Avenue, which was on the edge of town, the eastern edge of town. We had farmers' fields behind our house, an old barn that belonged to my grandfather who lived next door. So it was falling apart, but my dad used it for his business anyway. And then there was one field behind the house. It was usually soybeans that they planted there, and then was the windbreak. It was all poplar trees. It's probably 60 or 70 feet long, north to south, and 2 lines of trees, maybe 6 or 7, maybe 10 feet apart. Clearly planted to look that way and be that way. The purpose of a windbreak, to break the wind, to stop the snow from doing whatever. And I guess a place for the animals to live. So we spent a lot of time at the windbreak. There were also old orchards, apples, pears, plums, raspberries, all kinds of things that just kind of grew wild from an orchard that was there before and was no longer tended. So we'd eat that stuff, get stomach aches, get diarrhea, especially from the green apples, or we'd just throw the fruit at each other when we were full. I found a picture of my mom in the backyard in the 60s, and it was an okay black and white picture, but the thing I noted in it is I could see the windbreak behind her. Probably the only picture of the windbreak that I've ever had or ever seen, and kind of glad that it somehow got captured without intention. Anyway, I think of the nights we slept out there, take our sleeping bags out, start a little fire. We played our war games out there, killing the Nazis. What else do we do? Maybe some Western games. Oh, and probably played a little house with some of the neighborhood girls or a doctor. I think that was the first time that we actually got to look at the lack of penises on little girls. Amazing little things. Just a hump there with a slit where your dinky's supposed to be. They didn't have it. And I do remember, I think we might have stuck some sticks up my cousin Ann's ass once. Sorry about that. Hey, she was willing. And we'd all had something stuck out of our ass before, suppositories or thermometers, so we were just figuring it all out. But I can't tell you the last time I went to the windbreak. We just stopped going one day. It was the last time you went there, and you didn't go there saying this is going to be the last time or even intending it to be the last time. But it was the last time. And I mean, there's no surprise here. Just talking about life in general. You know, you go through life, you don't really know what direction you're going. You're just kind of playing the cards in front of you and hanging out in the windbreaks that are near your house. It's like that merry-go-round behind me. That's in front of Storybook Gardens here in London. And it's operating today. I thought that it had closed down forever, but I saw some kids on it. And of course, that would remind me of my own kids because I used to bring them here all the time. Got lots of pictures of them on that merry-go-round, that carousel with the horses. And I don't know when the last time we went there was. Might have been, no, it's probably in the early 2000s somewhere, when Miranda would have been, let's see, 2003, she would have been 8 or 9. And the other girls in their early teens or whatever. And yeah, they went on the merry-go-round, and that would have been the last time. So the last time for a lot of things. But we keep pushing forward, hoping it's not the last time. Like I rode my bike today. I rode it a long way. From Masonville down Adelaide to Gibbons Park, across to Harris Park, stopped off at the dive shop, went down Wyatt Street, through Greenway and out here. And I'm going to go home on Sanatorium to Hyde Park and then down Fanshawe Park. So that's a pretty good ride for an old boy, don't you think? I guess I'm trying to leave something with these little videos and stories and whatever else I suppose I come across as pretty morose, old, boring, dull nothingness. Might have the occasional pity party, too many, but who doesn't? But I don't feel too sorry for myself, even though I've been through a bunch of shit, because I saw lots of other people who went through way more shit than I could have ever imagined, and way more shit than people in this culture and society ever see. That's actually what I fear for the future for young people, is when the shit hits the fan, we get into survival mode here. The electronics break down, the internet goes awry, all that other stuff. How are they going to cope? How are they going to survive? Maybe they won't. Anyway, thanks for listening. There's the merry-go-round. And I can guarantee you it's the last time I'm going to sit on this bench. Ciao.